Adriana.
And I'm Jen.
And welcome to another exciting season of Two Moms in the Kitchen.
This season is sure to bring you some great new recipes, many tips and tricks for working in the kitchen, a whole lot of good conversation, and a great deal of fun.
We know that the world looks a little different now, but we hope that we can bring some joy and laughter into your home each episode.
We are so excited to be back. Hi, welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be making enchiladas. These ones are the vegetarian one, so there's no meat in this one. Instead, there will be the black beans as the protein. Now, before we get started, we're going to talk about the enchilada sauce, and that is your specialty, so I'll let you talk about it.
I am the resident Hispanic, therefore. I have just found that sometimes in Canada, there is a confusion with enchilada sauce. I waited for a long time, first of all, to enchilada sauce to get here. I used to go to the US and buy up cans and cans and cans and bring them up, but now it's here. So your best bet would be going to some sort of a Latin Hispanic store to get the enchilada sauce, because one time I bought red enchilada sauce and I opened the can and it was actually green. And I don't know if it was a mislabel, I don't know. But this enchilada sauce that we found came in jars. So it was great. We just needed a few. I think I bought 3 jars because they were pretty small. You need 2 cups for the recipe. That's fine. If you wanted to do this with green enchilada sauce, that would be fine. The red enchilada sauce has a bit of it is a touch spicier, but it's a touch more bitter, not in a bad way, just taste preference. The green enchilada sauce would be a little bit of a softer taste, and it would have green chilies in it, which is not spicier, it's just more flavorful in that way. So it just depends on what you like. My husband prefers green enchilada sauce. I prefer red enchilada sauce. It's a fight every time I make enchiladas. So you do what you want to do, but this recipe calls for red enchilada sauce. So that's what we're going with. So it just depends on what you like.
Excellent. Okay, so to get started, we have a medium-sized onion diced and they say a large green pepper diced. So we're going to add that into the pan with some olive oil and some garlic and get that softening up, because you want the onion to be translucent. So we're going to move over to the stove and start that. Okay, so we're going to turn the pan on to medium heat and we're going to add our olive oil in there. Maybe. There we go. Okay. We'll let that warm up for just a second, and then we're going to add garlic. It calls for 2 cloves of garlic, so we're going to do 2 heaping teaspoons because we love garlic. All right, so there's 1 and 2, and you just want to get that going so that the flavors start building. So I'm gonna take a spoon here and just spread that out a little bit. Get that warmed up.
And you don't want to make sure you don't have the pan too hot, because garlic burns very easily.
Yes.
So just be mindful of that.
Okay, so our garlic is bubbling and sizzling away here and it's smelling delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're going to do is add our peppers and our onions in here and make a huge mess.
Yes,
Awesome.
The food tastes better when you make a mess. Naturally.
Oh my goodness, I tell ya. All right, so we're just gonna cook this. It says for about 8 minutes, just like I said, until the onions are translucent and things are softened up a bit. And just keep stirring it around so the garlic doesn't burn and everything gets evenly cooked. Okay, so now that our peppers and our onions are softened and the garlic is smelling delicious, we are going to add our 1 can of black beans that have been rinsed and drained really well. We'll put that in there. And then we're going to put in 1 can of just corn, kernel corn. That can be in there. And we'll stir that around for a bit. So lovely colors coming through. There we go.
That looks delicious.
Yes.
You could eat that just as a salad right there.
I was just gonna say, yeah, just give me a spoon.
Yep, don't need much else.
Okay, just turn that around here. We just want everything incorporated. We're just gonna cook that for a couple of minutes just to heat the beans and the corn through.
And also you'll notice it's a little bit liquidy just because we've rinsed the beans and all that. So go ahead and let that liquid evaporate a bit.
That's
You'll
right.
be all right.
Yeah. There we go. Excellent. Okay. So now what we're going to do is add our spices in. So this calls for a teaspoon of kosher salt. So the kosher salt is just, if I can get it out without spilling, is just larger grains of salt as opposed to your table salt. So we're just gonna sprinkle that through.
And just be aware that if a recipe calls for kosher salt and if you use table salt, you're gonna be majorly over salting.
That's right.
So just be aware. If you don't have kosher salt, it's okay. Just don't over salt.
Yes. Okay. So now what we're going to put in is a half a teaspoon of cumin. This is a quarter teaspoon, so we're just going to add 2 there. These are going to bring out the nice warm flavors. We're going to add a quarter of a teaspoon of paprika. If you have smoked paprika, that's even better, but regular paprika will do. And then a quarter of a teaspoon of oregano. There we go. Excellent. So we'll just stir that through to get everything incorporated, all the yummy flavors. It is smelling delicious.
Mm-hmm.
My tummy is growling. All right. So we'll just give that another minute to let some of those liquid, or some of that liquid absorb just a little bit more, because we don't want soggy enchiladas. And then what we're going to do is add just a quarter of a cup of the enchilada sauce. So we're going to take our 2 cups that we have here, and we have our quarter cup measure. And so we'll just, this is just to bring it all together, start getting some of that flavor running through. Sorry. Okay. There we go. Looks good. So now we're going to prep the tortillas. So you're going to be baking this in a 9x13 baking dish, and whatever size tortillas you get, use. We could only find the large tortillas, which don't quite fit in there. So what we're going to do is just trim off the edge, and then you can use that. Kids can make like little roll-ups after school for a snack. Don't waste them, but we're going to trim these off so that they fit nicely. So we'll just take it off the one side.
So what Jen did is she measured it in the dish and saw that it was there, so then she can trim the rest off.
That's right. So now we're just going to use that as a template and cut through the rest of them.
You could even make, for like a salad, you can make tortilla strips in
Yes.
the oven with those. You
Yeah.
just cut them up smaller and bake them up a bit. That would be delicious.
Yeah, instead of croutons. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Good
Okay,
stuff.
so now what we're going to do is we just need to soften these so that they're easier to roll. So we're going, it's what the recipe says is to put them on a microwave safe dish. And then Adriana has another hot tip
There you
about,
So you get a paper towel and you wet it and you wring it. You put it on top, and this is gonna add some steam to the tortillas, so they won't be burning. They're just kind of steaming up a little bit and warming throughout. So for this amount of tortillas, I would do like 20 seconds in the microwave, and then we'll see. And then you feel the bottom one to see if it's all the way
Okay.
warm. And then this is not something that is like crucial to get it right. You're just kind of guesstimating at this point, so you'll be okay whatever comes out.
awesome. Okay, so then to prep the 9x13 dish, all we're going to do is take our enchilada sauce and pour a quarter of a cup in the bottom of it. So you don't need to spray it because that sauce will help with the tortillas not sticking to the bottom.
The tortillas are perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll grab our quarter cup here. Okay, and what we're going to do is just pour some in here, and we're just going to spread it out along the bottom. Doesn't have to be perfect, just so that those tortillas are not going to stick. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble the enchiladas. We've warmed up our tortillas. We've trimmed them so that they are ready to go, and we've got our pan all set. So what we're going to do is put the tortilla on a cutting board, and then we're going to take a spoonful, maybe a spoonful and a half, of our mixture, and just put it in the center here. And then we're going to take a sprinkle of some Mexican, this one is nacho flavored cheese. So we'll add.
They call it Tex-Mex too in some places.
Yes.
It just depends.
Yeah. Basically, when I was in the grocery store, I looked and they all kind of have the same, there's cheddar and then there's a jalapeno,
Monterey Jack,
jalapeno
peppers, all the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'll move this out of the way here. Adriana's trick is to kind of fold or roll.
You're gonna make a mess, just accept your fate.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
The filling's gonna come out, just pop it back in. No big deal.
There we go.
See? Because this is one of these things like lasagna that you can't mess up.
Yes.
It's gonna be layered, and when you put them on your plate after they're cooked, they're gonna spill out anyway.
That's
It's
right.
just the reality of it.
Yes. So the trick is though to put the seam side down.
Yeah.
Or underneath.
There you go.
There we
Perfect.
go. All right. So that's one.
Yep.
So
So
more to go.
what you could do if you have some of the filling, just sprinkle it on top.
Absolutely.
Or use it for the next one.
Yep.
You know, don't waste any of it because
No.
it's going to be so good. But just kind of, do what you got to do.
Okay, so we're gonna fill the rest of them here, and then we will come back and show you how to top them off. Okay, so we have all our enchiladas rolled and tucked into our 9x13 dish. Now we are going to top them with the yummy enchilada sauce, and we're going to drizzle it everywhere.
Make sure you get the edges too,
Yes.
because you want to make sure that it doesn't get too crispy, so that the sauce will help it just stay a little bit softer, so it doesn't jab you in the cheek when you're trying to eat it. That's also a trick for lasagna.
Yes.
There you go. That looks delicious.
No harming in eating these.
No,
Okay.
no.
So now, as you can see, we still have some leftover goodness in the pan. So what we're going to do is just top it, because
We can.
we can. Nobody says you can't.
Yep.
And we don't want to waste this food.
Yeah.
So you could definitely make another pan if you've got more tortillas and a smaller one that would maybe only do another 4 or so.
Yeah.
But since we don't, we're just going to sprinkle away here.
Yep. And the key is that you don't want to overstuff the tortillas. So, if you're being a little bit more cautious, that's okay, because you're just going to get it on top.
That's right.
No big deal.
Because like you said, these are going to fall apart anyways.
Yep.
So
I have never successfully eaten tortillas and been very clean about it. It's just, it's just the reality. It's a messy dish and it's a delicious dish, and all the flavors just come together really
That's
nicely.
right.
Yeah.
And now you have a sneak peek of what's inside of your
Oh, yeah.
enchiladas when
Yep.
you do it this way. Okay, so now the best part, of course, is adding the cheese. So we're just going to do a very healthy dose of sprinkling cheese on here. We want to get every last bit covered with ooey gooey goodness, because it's going to melt. I think that looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
All right. I mean, if it was my kids, the whole container of cheese would be on top of it, but
And when you're serving it, if you have kids that like cheese a lot, you can add more.
absolutely.
It's fine.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going to pop this into the oven, and let's just double check that it says 20 minutes. So we'll put it in the oven, and then we will show you what the finished product is. Okay, so the tray of enchiladas has just come out of the oven. It smells delicious, looks even better.
So good.
Yes, so now we are going to attempt to transfer one to a plate so that we can show you how to top it. So use whatever spatula you have. Probably the widest one is better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you need to do 2, like if you need to, sometimes I go in and I go like, scoop, whatever you need to do.
So now we just have to hunt for it. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think the 2 scoop, it's going to get messy.
Here, and put the plate close by, and you can just kind of flop it in. There you
My
go.
left hand is not working today.
There you go.
Let's see.
Oh, there you go. See? Perfect.
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. Not bad, not
Not
bad. Okay, so we've got the enchilada now on the plate. So some suggestions are sour cream which
Absolutely.
you can never go wrong with sour cream. So a little dollop of that on there. Avocado, which again is
Delicious.
fantastic. So just slices of avocado, or you could do cubes of avocado, whatever you want. So we'll just add a few fancy slices here.
If you've got a lot of family members, do them thinner or dice them and sprinkle them on top.
Absolutely.
Whatever. We're just being fancy now because we can.
That's right. Okay, there we go. Because I love avocado. And then cilantro. Again, people have a love-hate relationship with cilantro.
Yep.
So if you want to use it, absolutely. If not, then you can omit it. But there you go.
There you go.
There is your enchilada. We hope that you enjoy. Make sure that you like the video and comment below if you have any questions or suggestions. And we'll see you next time.